All right. Salute, discipili. Hello, Latin students. Today is December 7th, 2020. We just finished with Latin class. And I'm just going to talk for a few minutes about what we did, because I know there's a few of you out again this week. And sometimes it's helpful just to have a little bit of extra review. So one of the main things we did today was vocab review. Best way for you to review this at home is your flashcards. Flashcards. I encourage the class today to be spending more time in review of vocab. Next, we reviewed our declensions, right? Our first and second declensions. So we declined the adjective veras, vera, verum, true. I'd encourage you to pause right now and to take some time to do that, right? Drop your chart. And if you get stuck, or if you want to check your answer, go to page 85, right, to see the correct endings. Next, we reviewed conjugations. And so we reviewed our first conjugation. So I'd ask you to, how am I going to do this? Take a minute, pause the video, and review this conjugation. And then when you unpause it, I'll come and talk through how we do this. This should be pretty easy, though. So if I can get this to get bigger, let's try this. There you go. Oops, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Do, das, dat, damus, datus, dat. Right? We find our, again, this is a review. We find our base, right, which is DA. We drop the A for our first person singular. And then we add our endings after that, right? DA plus S, DA plus T, DA plus moose, DA plus tis, DA plus NT. So right, our endings again are OST, mus, tis, unt. Okay, this should all be review. I'm going to try to fix this. I don't know how to fix the formatting. Okay, but that's first, second, and third. All right, so our new lesson that we're learning this week is how to conjugate. Here, I'll try this. Oops. How to conjugate second conjugations, right? We know already that there's different ways of declining nouns, right? And again, to decline is just to show all the different nouns endings so we know what job the noun is doing in a sentence, right? So we've learned first declension, feminine. Well, it's mainly feminine, but first declension, a, arm, is, as, is. We've learned our second declension, masculine, us, o, is, os, is, and second declension, neuter. O, is, os, is, right? So we're familiar, there's different ways to decline nouns. We've also learned our first conjugation, right? Which ends with are. That's how you recognize your first conjugation. Well, just like there's different ways of declining nouns, there's different ways of conjugating verbs. And so that's what we're learning this week, with the second verb conjugation. And so you can see already, this looks a little bit different. Our four principal parts look a little bit different than our four principal parts for a first conjugation verb. Okay, so let's walk through this. Let's write this conjugation out. So our base is going to be vid. All right, I'm just going to make sure this formatting goes better. Right, so it's our base. How did we find that? Well, in the same way, right, we look to our second part and drop that RE. Now we get vide, right? Just like here, right? We look to our second principal part and drop that RE. Same thing here. So same process of finding your base for a second conjugation. For a second conjugation verb as a first conjugation verb. Okay. after we have our base, we simply add our endings, which are O, S, T, mus, tis, nt. Sound familiar? It should. It's the same endings. This shouldn't be that hard to learn at all. O, S, T, mus, tis, nt. Well, then why do we have two conjugations? Why not just one conjugation? Why are we learning this separate than a verb like do, dari, dedi, datu? Well, I think you'll notice two, I guess I gotta stay in the video, two main differences. One, we keep our full base for the first person singular, right? We don't drop the E. Here, we don't write Tao, right? The Tao, right? That's Taoism. We don't write that. We drop that A, right? Think about other verbs you've learned, right? We write sto, not stao. We write amo, not amao, right? We drop that A in the first person singular in our first conjugation. Second, you'll notice that the main vowel isn't A, it's E. The stem vowel isn't A. The stem vowel is E. Vid, video, vides, videt, videmos, videtus, vident. So those are the only two differences, really, is E is our stem vowel instead of A, and we retain that stem vowel in the first person singular. It's not video, it's video. And so when the students were practicing this morning, those are the two main mistakes they made, was just not keeping the stem vowel or adding a second stem vowel. Oops, so it looked like this, vides or videt, or dropping it here, just making this video. So those are the common mistakes that you're probably gonna have to be on the lookout for. But we translate it the same way: video, I see, vides, you see, videt, he, she, it sees, videmos, we see, videtus, you all see, and vident, they see. Okay, so why don't you take a minute and try to do one on your own, okay? We'll change it. Let's say, I'm just looking at our new words, teneo, tener, tenui, tentum, okay? This means I hold, to hold, I held, okay? Singular, plural, okay? Why don't you take a minute at home right now, pause the video, and try to conjugate this on your own. Tick-tock. Okay, good, we're unpaused. How do we do? Well, what's our base? Tene, right? Oops. Okay, let's put our base in. What are our endings? Oh, well, that's a 0. O, S, T, mus, tis, und. So why don't you repeat after me? Teneo, tenes, tenet, tenemos, tenetus, tenent. Good. Okay, so in terms of moving forward, right, I would practice this again this week, right? We're going to review it on Wednesday. We'll review our conjugations and our declensions, go through the same process, pick a different adjective than vedas, veda, vedam, you know, so that you can do all three genders. Pick a different verb than video or teneo, and review your conjugations. And be reviewing your vocab cards. Today in class, we also started page 105, the worksheet. I'd be working on that, your derivatives, and then on Wednesday, we're going to be taking our quiz. If any questions come up, just send me a message. I'm happy to help in any way I can. Hope to see you all back in class soon. Bye. Stop recording.